Book lovers unite! I'm Demethius Jackson, and you're listening to the Chapter 1 podcast. The greatest stories ever written all begin with Chapter 1. In each episode, our guest authors will share their first chapters with you. Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, in keeping with the New Year's theme, I've got another author who I think is a great fit. Today, I'll be speaking with Brent Louis Miller. He's the author of 101 Protocols for Online Dating. That's right. We're going to help your love life this year. Brent was already a pioneer in the matchmaking business well before everything went digital. He co-founded Dial-A-Date back in the 1980s. That's when everything used to be on phone, back during the years of the 1-800 and 1-900 numbers. So now, in his mid-50s, Brent has created these protocols to help people get through the experience of online dating and hopefully find what you're looking for. And our episode with Brent starts right now.
Well, online dating continues to grow and be more popular now than ever. The proverbial message in a bottle gone digital. This book has evolved from many years of my participation in the cyber world of dating. With its ups and its downs, it's interesting and stories are amusing and sometimes alarming. It's from the novice to the seasoned online daters. 101 Protocols for Online Dating is a witty, funny book about online dating and it's people's experience that they have done. Also my experience over many years of cyber dating. 101 Protocols is an easy read to make you laugh, and it's helpful for both men and women. The book evens the playing field between the novice and the seasoned online dater. You will gain insights and subtleties in people's profiles and messages that can reveal someone's character and true intent. Learn how to eliminate the fear and gain the ability to forecast the potential date's outcome and eliminate and enhance your chance for romance.
You were the perfect person to write this book because you started out in the matchmaking business back in the 1980s, before computers were mainstream and tablets and smartphones hadn't even been invented yet. What was the dating industry like back then?
Well, at that time, it was all done by phone. It was someone would call in and they would record a message and say, "Hi, my name's Susie and I'm 5'11" and I'm a sophomore at University of Kentucky." And then someone else could call in and listen to these recordings. And then they would say, "Well, I'm interested in Susie." And they leave a message, "And my name is Jim and I like some of the things that you like and we'd like to talk." And then if it worked out, then they would end up exchanging phone numbers. We actually called it Enhance Your Chance for Romance, Dial-A-Date.
So in a sense, that kind of was online dating before everything went digital. Exactly. You all were experimenting.
It was done by phone. It was before the modems and all got involved.
Yeah, geez. Could you imagine people trying to date strictly by phone today?
Well, it was got a lot more broader audience now than it did then.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have like 30 or 40 women and 30 or 40 guys, where now they have 3 or 4 million. Match.com has 40 million throughout the United States.
Yeah. And that's actually a good point. So since you began this so early on, you've seen the perception of online dating change over the years from something that was, I guess, socially frowned upon to pretty much accepted.
It's a whole lot more mainstream now.
What do you think changed the perception of online dating?
It's because so many people were doing it. Also, people become more isolated at work. And it's just really not a good idea to date people you work with. And that's pretty much all the people you meet. So if they want a social interaction, they kind of got to go elsewhere to do it. And also, dating online allows you to learn a whole lot more about the person than you would, say, if you met them in a bar or something like that. You wouldn't even know if they were single or not.
Yeah. And, that is a common complaint that I've heard with a lot of my friends, a lot of working folks, is that, like you said, you're basically going to work and you're stuck in traffic and you're coming home. There just isn't an opportunity to really meet people like you used to. So would you say your book is more written towards men or women or both? Or better yet, a better question, who would benefit from your book the most?
Well, who would benefit the most would be somebody the novice online dater. But a seasoned online dater can learn stuff too, because they certainly can be doing this. And if they're seasoned, that means they've been doing it a while and obviously haven't been very successful at it, or they wouldn't have been doing it a while. So I think it's kind of for everyone.
So right now we're into this new year, and I'm sure that finding a mate or upgrading the one you currently have is high priority for a lot of people today. Can you share a few tips from your book that could help these people?
Well, the best thing is to, like if a woman, an attractive lady starts online dating, she literally gets bombarded, and she might get 40 or 50 email. Well, she tries to be polite and she says, thank you for writing, but I'm not interested. Well, I encourage you, just don't do that. Just pick out a few that you are interested in and pursue those, and don't try to write 30 or 40 people, and don't try to do too many at one time, because the quality will show, and anybody with the intelligence that you want to date will be able to tell that you're emailing a whole lot of people.
Yeah, I hear you when you mention the amount of data that's coming at you when you put yourself out there for online dating. And I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like as a female, just seeing who knows how many messages in your inbox from people. And if you're a novice, feeling compelled to respond back to all of them. So I think you're absolutely right in doing yourself a favor and just kind of cutting the fat out immediately, just focusing, drilling down on the ones that, that resonate more with you.
Also, I encourage women, look at potential men and don't wait for them to email you. I got a protocol about that. It says, good things come to those who wait, but only the things left from those who didn't. And that means usually if there's this great guy on there that you're wanting to ask you out, well, he's a great guy. Everybody else sees that, and he's getting lots of emails from other women. He has no reason to email you because he's trying to juggle all the women that are emailing him.
Yeah.
So he very well might like you very, very well, but if you don't email him. So I'm trying to say, don't let chivalry get in the way on your online dating. If you see a man you like, send him an email. You'll be surprised in the amount of marriages that are out there where the women did write the man first. And if you can't write your own profile, have somebody else write it. And because sometimes people can speak more clearly about you than even you can, because they can brag on you to where bragging on yourself is a little bit of a problem. And so that can kind of help you in that regard. And another something that's very important, you need to say what you want and not say what you don't want. If you prefer non-smoker, just say, I prefer a non-smoker. Don't say, oh, I hate, I don't want no smokers or things like that.
What I think is cool about your book is that you've actually been endorsed by Match.com, which I believe is the largest online dating community currently.
It is.
Yeah. You're also collaborating with them on some upcoming events?
Yes. I'm supposed to do some book signings and things like that at some of their upcoming events that they have. That's
amazing. How did that come together?
Well, I started working with Match.com and with their marketing company. And they were, and I sent them some PDF files of some stuff that we were writing, and they kind of gave some suggestions on this and that. And, I heeded their suggestions, and we kind of moved on from there.
You've also, since you've been in the dating industry for so long, you've seen and have been involved in the evolution of online dating. Where do you see this all going in the future?
Well, I do think eventually they will, and they've already started doing it. Instead of saying your profile, it'll probably be some type of video, some sort of digital service. And it'll be like some sort of video chat, and that way they'll seem like they get to know you better. So I figure some sort of video, sort of like Facebook Live goes now.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then you'll be able to chat via visual, sort of like the Facebook does now. You have the face chat. And then eventually it might even move to where they do a lot of the matchup for you, both geographically, and you'll be a whole lot more interactive with it.
Just put in your data points and let the algorithm do the rest, huh?
Right.
Yeah. And maybe that's the better way to go about it, because I remember from my own experiences, sending messages out there to people that I was interested in and then never hearing anything back. And, after a while, it gets disheartening. even from the female perspective as well, when there's a guy that you muster up the nerve to talk to and you send a message out and don't reply. So maybe having those type of algorithms working for you would be the better way to go about it.
Well, I call that something like the 80-20 rule. If you had like a certain geographic area that I say wanted to date people from 35 to 45, and then I showed you and just say it was 100 people from 35 to 45, typically almost everybody would pick about 20% of them. They usually do it by photos alone. They just look at them and go, okay, I'd go out with him and him and him. And by the time it's all over with, it's about 20% of them. Okay. But the problem is if you ask the lady sitting right next to her, she'll pick 19 of the same 20. So you gotta make some effort to get some good pictures because, you want to be in that top 20%, something that'll draw them in and make yourself be interesting. And I call that the 80-20 rule. Most people will pick the same 20%. That's the thing.
That is interesting. I guess that's kind of human behavior, huh?
Right. People judge, they're very superficial and they judge by the picture. And if they like the picture, then they'll read more about it. But if they don't like the picture, no matter how well, and I do this in the book, I do a lot of research in the book, no matter how well written your profile is, they're never going to read it if your picture doesn't draw them in. In the book, I did some experiments with good pictures and terribly written profile. Terrible. I mean, I'm not going to be your nanny, and you're going to take me first class shopping. You're going to pay for everything, and then another profile with the girl with not so good at pictures, actually, selfies that didn't look good, and a great profile. And the experiment over a 48-hour period, the girl with the terrible profile and good pictures got 96 emails. So the girl with bad pictures and a great profile only got 6.
No surprise there.
And I do encourage people to put something in their profile when you write your profile to find out if your reader actually read it. Say, hey, my favorite color is purple. Tell me what your favorite color is. And then that way you can tell who's the serial daters just sending copy and pasting emails to the same people.
Yeah.
Tell me your favorite vacation spot, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the future of online dating, I can't help but to wonder where virtual reality and augmented reality comes into play. I guess what I see is maybe a time where you can literally just connect with a person virtually, like maybe go on a virtual date somewhere or meet in I guess the old way was meeting in chat rooms, but now you'd meet in a virtual room. Who knows how it's going to go? That's
very, very likely that one day it'll end up there with these, the goggles they have and everything. You both put on a set, and maybe they'll eventually probably have it where they have these, like used to have these, remember they had these internet cafes and people would go to them, and they'll probably start it like that. They'll have some sort of virtual reality cafes and people go there and do it. And then they'll eventually get where they just hook it right into their computer and do it from home. And, you'll maybe be in a restaurant atmosphere and you'll be standing there talking to them just like they're there.
That's something there. Did you have any other favorite protocols that you wanted to share with the audience?
Well, I have a few protocols that people kind of tend to forget about. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, I got a protocol about that. It says it's better to lose a lover than to love a loser. Also, this is something that's very important. But people always want to just brag about themselves, and people like to talk about themselves, and I encourage you to let them. I say that anticipation is aphrodisiac. That means stuff you don't know sometimes can excite a person, because if you're just all out there and you're trying to tell them everything about you at one time, it doesn't work like that very good.
Yeah.
And also another one is people are drawn to enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic about what you have to say and be complimentary. And if you're on a second date, talk about things that happened on the first date. Like what she wore or, things like that. That'll be surprising if you remember, that scarf she wore on the first date or that necklace she wore on the first date that you remember. They'll notice that you're paying attention, and that'll gain points.
Definitely. Attention to detail. Absolutely.
It's a good gift. Like they have these divorce parties. I don't know if you ever, sometimes people finally get a divorce and they have these divorce parties.
No,
This
I've
would
never
be a
heard of
good
that.
gift.
Are you serious?
Oh, they have them. They have them. You know, they have the bridesmaid party and all, and sometimes they have a divorce party. Most of the time it involves drinking, but they do. They have divorce parties, and this book makes a good gift for a divorce party. You know, it kind of teaches them how to get out there and, you know, things to do and things not to do while online dating.
Hey, I will be sure to put that in the show notes. Wish I had that myself. So great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Just again, I want people to understand that don't underestimate your ability, your potential date to read between the lines. It's sometimes because if you're doing one-liners and stuff like that, you need to take time and talk to 2 or 3 people, maybe not 30 or 40, because anybody with any intelligence, you're going to scare off because they're going to know you're doing exactly that. And you're going to end up getting exactly what you don't want. It's somebody else who's talking to 30 or 40 people. So don't do it, because your date, if he's smart as you are, and you hope that he is, will be able to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing.
So where can readers find you and your books online?
Okay. Well, I am in Barnes & Noble, and I am on Amazon under online dating books. I have a website called theonlinedatingbook.com.
Okay. Well, Brent, again, I thank you very much for talking to us today. And I'm sure you're making this year great for people that are about to jump in and do their thing in online dating.
Well, I hope I could help some people out and maybe make some sort of guidelines for online dating that people will follow, because, you know, sometimes the anonymity of a keyboard can hide the lack of a spine. People will say things with their keyboard they'd never say in person. But I do very much appreciate you having me on your show.
And with that, we're going to wrap up another episode. Man, that was a great conversation with Brent. He had some really great tips for people. The 80-20 rule, that's actually something I had never heard of before. 80% of the population will pick the same 20%. So I guess you want to make sure you're in that 20%. Thanks again to Brent for talking with us today. And also thanks to Julie at JKS for connecting us together. If you have any questions about this episode or any, or you know an author who you think will be a good fit for the show, let me know. Connect with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's new. Or you can email me at info@ch1podcast.com. You can also check out our website at ch1podcast.com. There you can find previous episodes and hopefully find your next favorite author. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And most importantly, help us spread the word by writing a short review and telling everyone you know about the show. And man, I am super pumped because 2018 has gotten off to a fantastic start, and I hope it has for you all as well. That's it for me. You all stay awesome. Till next time.